जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जना वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जना वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदनंदन व्रज जनरंजन व्रज Krishna जय श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव भक्त वृंद की जय। जय निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल। हरे कृष्ण। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशकारिणे। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. Pleasant day, wasn't it? Was it a little too hot? No? Maybe we did not spend enough time in the sun outside. It was a little hot today. I was thinking of a very interesting story this is a story of a man who had been informed that if he would go to the banks of a river, then he would find diamonds. And this man was really very much interested in getting diamonds or having diamonds. However, he had absolutely no idea how an authentic diamond looks like. He knew it's sparkling. Beyond that, he had no idea. So he was informed that you go to the banks of the river and the waters carry down different particles of diamond from upstream, they bring it down. And occasionally these diamonds get deposited on the banks. So how do I find out which is a diamond? Pick up that grain, that sparkling grain that you see on the banks, and hold it against the sun. And if you see that the light filters through and through, then it is a diamond. So he wanted to make quick money, so he decided, why not spend the day on the banks of the river? Now sand sometimes also has a similar quality, especially if it has been really smoothed out. There are some rough edges to particles of sand, then they also sparkle in the sunlight. So he was also informed that he must not consider sand particles to be diamonds, so he must be careful to separate the two. And it had to be done through manual labor only. He had to be picking up those particles and analyzing each one of them. So he goes to the river bank, and he walks along the bank, and whenever his eyes see a sparkling particle glistening in the sun, he becomes excited, he gets excited, picks it up, holds it against the sun, and it would turn out to be sand. So rather than throw it right there, just to avoid duplication, coming back to the same grain again, he would throw that grain of sand into the river. So although the river would wash down diamonds, it wasn't like it would wash down diamonds in huge quantities. There would be a rare particle coming down the river. So he had spent a couple of hours picking up certain grains that were sparkling, and it wasn't a diamond, so you throw it into the river. So you pick it up and then realize it's not a diamond and throw it. And the endeavor was so monotonous that after some time, just to keep himself engaged, he started verbalizing his emotions. Like, oh, this is not a diamond. Oh, this is not a diamond. So you pick up a grain of sand, this is not a diamond, and throw it into the river. Pick it up, not a diamond, throw it. Then after some time, the entire sentence was it had an abbreviated form, not this. So you pick it up, not this, and throw it. Pick it up, not this, throw it. Another hour passed, pick up some grain, not this, throw it into the river. So it had become so very mechanical for him by now that practically every time he would bend down to pick up a grain, he would expect it not to be a diamond anymore. So, not this, throw, not this, throw, not this, throw. Another hour passed, not this, throw, not this, throw it in the river, not this, throw. This is it, and throw. And then he realized what he had done. He had actually picked up a diamond, but he had become so used to picking up a grain and just throwing it. It had become such a reflex action for that person. Even before he could realize it, he had thrown a grain of diamond into the river, and he couldn't get it back. Like the river must by now have, the waters must have carried it downstream. This is very relatable if you know how Krishna presents the opportunity that society has to be Krishna conscious. Out of thousands of men, one actually is serious enough to try and understand the supreme truth. Manushyanam sahasreshu kashyati atiti siddhe. It's like finding Krishna consciousness is like trying to accept or find diamonds on the banks of the river. The river bank is full of so many grains of sand which are like material desires. And Krishna consciousness is like the rare grain of diamond that the river brings down. So Manushyanam sahasreshu kashyati atiti siddhe. Out of thousands, hundreds and thousands of practitioners, one shall try and understand the supreme truth. And of the many thousands who try and understand the supreme truth, one shall know the truth. In truth. One shall know the Supreme Lord in truth. This is not to dissuade us from trying and achieving this wonderful blessing of being Krishna's devotee. It is not a dissuasion. If we realize how very glorious is the position of being Krishna's devotee, let's suppose, let me give you an example before I explain further. If you realize that there are 15 of us and there are only 2 pieces of pizza, then are we going to be dissuaded by the fact, or are we going to try and really be the first 2 people to get to the table to receive the pizza? Because pizza is glorious. So Krishna and being Krishna's devotee is as glorious as a pizza, and there are just 2 pieces and 15 of us. So rather than think that it's impossible, we must try and endeavor to be amongst the first there. That is the whole idea. The whole idea is that it is so very wonderful to be a devotee of Krishna that one must be very eager to be on that platform, to have this opportunity to be a devotee of Krishna and serve Krishna with all our heart and our minds and our consciousness. And how is it glorious? Because Krishna is so magnificent. He is this amazing personality. Yesterday we were discussing about Krishna lifting up the Govardhan hill. Very soon we are going to have that festival coming up. In remembrance of Krishna having lifted up the Govardhan hill, we celebrate the Annakut festival. Yes? What is it called as? Govardhan Puja and Annakut festival. And many times devotees, they create a hill that replicates Govardhan, but it is actually a mound of food, maybe rice and other things, but it is just a rice mound. And occasionally there may be Krishna underneath that mound of hill with his little finger touching that hill. For the most part, the food appears attractive, but Krishna under the hill does not appear as attractive. Like everyone is looking at, oh, here is this, here is that, here is that, here is this. And yeah, there's obviously Krishna, obviously he's there. So that is material vision. Material vision is where the needs of the body are more attractive than the needs of the soul. One of the most renowned saints in the Vaishnav lineage, Gaudiya Vaishnav lineage, our lineage, is Madhavendra Puri. And he was doing Govardhan Parikrama. And on his parikrama he became so engrossed that he forgot that he had to actually go around the hill. He just sat down in one place. Most probably he was retired, he did not have to go back to a job after 7 days or 6 days. He did not have any pressing matters. He's a sannyasi. So he just sat down near Govindakund, a place, a lake, on the path that one uses to circumambulate Giriraj Govardhan, the hill Giriraj Govardhan. So there's a lake on that path, Govindakund. And he was so immersed in thinking about Krishna and how Krishna had forgiven Indra at that spot. And he was coronated as the king of all, and especially the king of the cows, the leader of the cows, the most worshipful deity for all the cows. So Krishna was worshipped by the cows and the demigods right at that spot. So he was so engrossed that he had forgotten to eat or drink or sleep. I mean, he forgot. Like sometimes people forget to eat when they are engrossed in their movies or video games or maybe in the casino. Or children forget to eat when they are on their video games, playing video games. So Madhavendra Puri had forgotten to eat and drink, and he did not have a mother or a father who was coming behind him. You have to eat now. Stop playing. So he was playing on this app. Madhavendra Puri was playing on this app called Krishna Remembrance. And this app made him once again be completely engrossed in Krishna's pastime. Once again, this was like very repetitive for him. However, he was so involved in it, it was as if this was his very first time. So completely forgot eating and sleeping. And Madhavendra Puri was not trying to better his scores. Like the previous time I could only meditate for 3 days, so now I'm going to do it at least 3.5. He was not trying to better his scores, he was just completely engrossed. Completely forgot about eating and sleeping. And Krishna had to come and offer him some milk. How did he know? And here, in those days, that entire part of Vrindavan was a deep forest. You did not have traffic passing down the asphalt road. There was no asphalt road at all. How did you know I was here? And Krishna, as a little boy, he said, well, I live in a village right next to this hill, close enough, and the village ladies who come here to collect different things for their household chores, they noticed you, and one of them was my mother, and we realized that you are so much engrossed in a meditation that you have forgotten to eat or even ask for food. So here we like to take care of people who are deep in meditation, so we are offering you some food, some milk. Please have this milk. And when he received that milk, so first of all, he was so amazed, just being engrossed in Krishna's pastime that he forgot about eating, sleeping and drinking, everything. All his bodily needs were like lost to him. And now he receives milk, a pot of milk, a whole pot of milk. And Madhavendra Puri is so much attracted by the form of this little boy. He had no idea this is Krishna. So Krishna hadn't come with a placard like, I am Krishna. And sometimes when our children, they perform a drama, then they have to come with placards. I am Balaram, I am a tree, in Vrindavan, wish fulfilling tree. So Krishna hadn't come with any board. So he had no idea this was Krishna, and he had introduced himself as a village boy. So that is what he accepted it as. So although he had received the pot of milk and he had been fasting for a couple of days or maybe more, he didn't go offering prayers like Mahaprasade Govinde, I have milk finally, let me drink this. That form was so very attractive that he forgot to drink the milk. And only after some time, when his mind kind of snapped out of its attraction or distraction, did he realize that he had the pot with him. And the boy had told him that, please finish off the milk, and when it is evening I shall come by and take the empty pot back. So seemingly, throughout the entire afternoon, he was just sitting with the pot in his hand, and the milk did not go bad. He was just sitting there, and all he could do was look into the direction in which the boy had disappeared. He was like stunned by that emotional experience. He was completely stunned. So that is Krishna. So attractive. His very name suggests the all-attractive personality. So to be a devotee of Krishna is actually sense gratification. I mean, practically most of us know that it is sense gratification. Many devotees, especially from the West, when they come to India and they look at all the festivities that happens in India, like Govardhan Puja is like this huge mountain of sweets. And the entire day, if you happen to be in Vrindavan, everyone is offering you sweets to eat. Everyone is just offering you so much food to eat. Like, please, Annakut festival, we have celebrated. So it seems that actually devotees enjoy much more than the ordinary people outside. Now, our Sunday feast is practically a 9-course meal sometimes. But that is one aspect. The real enjoyment for the senses is to see Krishna, to be able to hear Krishna's names, or the sound of Krishna's voice, or the sound of Krishna's flute, to be able to taste Krishna's presence. Savai mana Krishna padara vindayo. Bhagavatam states that one must try and engage all one's senses, including one's mind, at the lotus feet of Krishna. The month that we are in is a special month. It comes once a year. as do every other month. It only comes once a year, where an entire month is spent trying to reawaken our dormant attraction towards Krishna. This is called the month of Damodar. There are various technical reasons how this month is very glorious. One of them being that this month of Damodar is very dear to the heart of Srimati Radharani, and hence she is more merciful than ever when she sees that devotees are offering service, offering their services with a lot of conviction in this month of Damodar. She's also one of the most important presiding deities of this particular month. This month begins from the first day of the waning moon in the month of Kartik. That is when the constellation Kritika, the moon enters that constellation. Month of Kartik. So the moon does that. The moon enters 27 constellations in its journey throughout the year. So this is one of the constellations that it enters. Therefore it is called as Kartik. So as soon as the moon enters this constellation in its travel through with the various constellations of the zodiac, when it enters this particular constellation, the month of Kartik begins, and since that month to the next 30 days, the presiding deity, one of the most prominent presiding deities, is Srimati Radharani, and she is very, very merciful. But in this month, her mercy practically overflows towards anyone who wants to receive it, unhindered. It's not that she is stopping the flow of her mercy. Her mercy is always flowing, but in this month, those who are conscious of how important this month is, they remove any obstacles that could stop the flow of mercy from Srimati Radharani, and hence there are no obstacles. It is more of personal endeavor. Now, of all the places in the entire universe, of all the objects, of all that which is very dear to Srimati Radharani, the hill of Govardhan is the supreme most dear to her, along with the river Yamuna. Two special places, the river Yamuna and the hill Giriraj. When Krishna informed her that he would be descending onto this planet Earth, and he wanted her to also descend along with him, she requested Krishna that please, I would only descend if the land of Vrindavan, and within the land of Vrindavan, Giriraj Govardhan hill and the river Yamuna are there, then I would be very happy. And Krishna said, well, I've already made those arrangements. The land of Vrindavan and Giriraj mountain and the river Yamuna have already descended on this planet. So of all the places in the entire universe, there is no other place that Srimati Radharani would rather be than at Govardhan hill. And on Govardhan hill, Krishna has declared that the place known as Radha Kund is the most dear to him. So Giriraj is very dear to Srimati Radharani, and on Giriraj, on the mountain Giriraj, is Radha Kund. Kund is a Sanskrit word, or you could just say it is um, a word in the local language that designates a lake or a pond. So Radha Kund is the lake of Radharani or the pond of Radharani. There is a wonderful story about the appearance of Radha Kund, Sri Radha Kund. The eighth day of the waning moon in this month of Kartik is the appearance day of Radha Kund in this world. So about 5,000 years ago, Krishna descended onto this planet externally to try and help those who were following the norms and the laws of the universe, and try and restrict the people who were against the laws in this universe. So those who were against the laws were called as asuras, and those who are trying to follow the laws are the suras, or technically the demigods and the demons. So he came to protect the demigods, his devotees, and to restrict the movement of the demons. If necessary, kill them too. That was the external reason. The internal reason was that he descended on this earth to expand his own happiness and pleasure by including so many devotees in this universe within his pastime, so allowing them an opportunity to come and visit him, personally come and serve him. So he appeared as a baby. He was born to Devaki, a queen, and Devaki's husband Vasudev carried him across the river Yamuna for his own safety to the house of his friend Nanda Maharaj. Nanda Maharaj is a king in his own rights. He is the king of the cowherd community, and in about 5,000 years ago the cowherd community was very powerful. So this powerful community was recognized by the reigning king, the reigning king. So he was raised up as the prince in the land of Vrindavan. His maternal uncle, the cousin of Devaki, of the name Kamsa, was very much wanting to kill him, for the simple reason that Alexa told him that he would be his enemy. So there was Alexa, the voice in the sky. And the voice in the sky informed him, Kamsa, the eighth son of your sister Devaki shall be the cause of your death. And based on that assumption, he accepted that voice in the sky to be the absolute truth. He did not want to take any chances. So based on that assumption, he was always trying various means to kill Krishna, who happened to be one of the most prominent children who had survived his attempt at infant genocide. Kamsa had sent out an order that all young children who were about 2 years or less at that point of time should be killed. And he committed this genocide, or technically it would be infanticide. And this child survived along with his brother Balaram. And Kansa would keep on receiving feeds. The RS feeds would come to him. Krishna is doing this, Krishna did that. So he would have Krishna's locations available to him. And he had a team of well-trained and powerful mercenaries of those times. They were all dedicated to him because he paid them their salary and also threatened them that if you seek employment elsewhere, then I will have you killed. And he was really powerful, he could have them killed too. So these mercenaries who had a very dark nature to them, a very dark character, they loved to hurt others. Violence was their primary nature, not even the second nature. And especially they loved to hurt helpless people. That made them feel powerful. So Kamsa sent such persons with degraded consciousness to cross over to the forest from the city, to go to the forest of Vrindavan and try and kill Krishna. And every attempt of his was fruitless. Somehow every single mercenary was dead. And Kamsa would not even accept that it was Krishna who killed his men. He wouldn't accept that. And years passed on like that. Month after month, Kamsa would send another mercenary and that person would never come back. Like dozens of them had died having gone to Vrindavan. But Kamsa would not give up. So one day when Krishna was playing with his friends at Govardhan Hill, this was in the afternoon, late morning. His friends were engrossed in the game, and somehow or the other Krishna got separated from his friends. So his friends were playing near the place called, just a little distance away from Kusum Sarovar, a lake where his friends would love to come and spend an entire afternoon. So they were completely immersed in the game, and Krishna just, by choice most probably, disappeared from that game, and no one noticed him disappearing. He just snuck away. And he went all the way towards the tail of Govardhan, where the cowherd girls had come. For certain reasons, they were all there. So he met them in the afternoon. And as he was introducing himself again to them, like, hey, I'm Krishna, how did I find you here? How are you here? As he was kind of making his moves, comes a huge bull. Now this is not no ordinary bull. This bull is a shapeshifter. You know what's a shapeshifter? For those of you who read Harry Potter, a shapeshifter could change shapes, form. So he was a very, very demoniac person, very powerful too, of the name Arishta. But he liked to be called Asura. Arishta the Asura. You know how the some of the celebs here have a tag name to them, especially those who involved in all those fights, WWE or WWF, something like that. So they have all that tag names. So Arishta the Asura. And somehow or the other the media forgot to add the, so it just became Arishtasura. The just vanished. So it was just Arishtasura. And Arishtasura loved to take on the form of a bull, somehow or the other. Maybe he was from Brazil or something. He did not want to be a matador, he just wanted to be a bull. So he had come in that form, that huge form. It was so huge, this form, that his head was covered by the clouds that were swirling in the sky. And these clouds were quite high. They had not kind of precipitated down. They were really high in the sky. Miles and miles high up. That was how tall he was. He really wanted to be noticed. You know, a bull so huge should come to New York. Would make sense. All the bulls are there on this stock market. A big, huge bull. So all the girls go, oh, like that. Oh, save us. And Krishna says, don't worry. However, when he was trying to assure the girls, the cowherd girls, Krishna's face was turned towards Arishtasura. He was wanting to see what's coming on. And his assurance of don't worry was actually worded out towards Arishtasura. Like, don't worry. So Arishtasura is really mad now. Like he had expected Krishna to kind of have made some other sounds. Fearful sounds, sounds of fear, you know, like, save me, daddy, something like that. Krishna is kind of facing Arishtasura and saying, don't worry. So Arishtasura really gets mad. He puts his head down. His horns and his massive skull is pointed towards Krishna, and he digs up the ground with his hooves. Maybe wanted to take a long jump or something like that. And he ran towards Krishna. And Krishna just kind of stuck out his arms, his two arms, and he held on to Arishtasura's horns. And maybe, Arishtasura was, or maybe Krishna was, he knew karate or something like that. Just one twist and Arishtasura's neck cracked. And how old is Krishna right now? He's hardly 5. I mean, that's some karate move, He just holds on to this bull and swoosh. So the momentum that the bull has is there with its body still, and Krishna is catching hold of this bull, and he just twists the bull's head. Crack. And the bull's dead. And Krishna kind of just dusts off his hands like that. Now if he were with his cowherd friends, his boy friends, they would have all gone like All glory to Krishna, Jai Krishna, Krishna the Great. But these are the cowherd girls. They're like, Ayyo. These are cowherd girls. They're like, oh, this is so bad. You hurt another person. So they have those special feelings that girls have, I guess. Little girls. So they're like Krishna.